People want to think that their case is decided on the merits of their case, not on what political party they belong to, not on what contributions they've made. But when you start bringing in Democrat, Republican party politics into the mix, then it doesn't necessarily work that way.
For years, Oklahomans had selected their judges through a party election system, Republican and Democrat. There have been charges of corruption throughout that time. And in 1960s, Oklahoma Supreme Court Justice N.S. Horn, who was 80 years old at the time, testified that he had taken a $150,000 bribe to fix a tax case. He shared $7,500 each with two other justices to fix their votes. Then Justice Horn testified that this was not the only time he had taken a bribe. During the 20 years he had been on the bench, he could not remember one year when he had not taken a bribe.
Well, I was embarrassed to find out that our Supreme Court had been taking payoffs. We've been through the grapes of wrath, and now we got a Supreme Court taking payoffs.
Which for those of us who were young lawyers was just horrible. We were so proud to be lawyers. We were so proud of our profession and being involved in the system of justice. And to have that happen was just such a catastrophic thing to all of us that lots of us, younger lawyers, senior lawyers, business, civic leaders, academics, citizens organizations, we all rallied to the cause of judicial reform so that this would never happen again.
The average Oklahomans were outraged and wanted to change the system. Due to the political system, though, and the cash and carry justice, which is what Newsweek magazine called Oklahoma's system, it was difficult to get a change made.
So I drew up articles of impeachment to submit to the House of Representatives. Right after that, I introduced a bill which was known as the Mordy bill, which took the selection of appellate judges out of voters' hands and put them in a committee.
The system was fixed by basically scrapping political party elections, and in 1967, Oklahomans voted in a new system. And under this new system, all local judges would be elected in nonpartisan elections. The political party affiliation cannot even be listed on the ballot.
It utilized the Judicial Nominating Commission, which itself was bipartisan, comprised of lawyers and non-lawyers, geographically representative, and given the responsibility and the resources to consider candidates for the appellate judgeships, investigate, do background investigations, interviews, and to determine who among them was best qualified.
Everyone who served on the commission, whether they were a layperson or a lawyer, took the job very seriously. I think what we provided and what I was most proud of is the fact that we really represent the voice of the regular citizen and the average person, and having the opportunity to participate in that process, one, I became educated and enlightened, but it also made me aware of how seriously everybody took the job.
And what this does is ensure that any judge who goes to the bench in Oklahoma through this system is very qualified. Any skeletons in the closet have been discovered. Grades, even back from law school, are looked at. So it's a thorough vetting process to ensure that all Oklahoma judges on the bench are qualified and fair and impartial.
The problem being, before that, people just were not in a position to know enough about who they were voting for judicial offices. And so this gave a responsible group of people, representative of interests, proper interests, to submit then to the governor 3 names from which the governor would appoint one, and then for accountability to require that person after a period to stand for retention or rejection by a vote of the people.
Our government, both locally and federally, was founded on having three separate and distinct and co-equal branches of government, which is the legislature, the judicial, as well as our executive branch. And it is important because there are so many missed opportunities and so much misinformation out there for people to understand that the judiciary should not be a rubber stamp of the legislature or the executive branch. They serve a separate and distinct role, and it's important that we keep those separations in place.
In our system, anytime you have a court case, you're going to have a winning party and a losing party. The losing party is almost guaranteed to be unhappy with that decision, and that unhappiness often lies at the feet of our judges. But the solution to that is not to fix our system. It's not to fix a system that's not broken.
The goals of judicial reform way back then have been well served in that. Now, people can be unhappy about some of the decisions of the court or the selections of the court. It's a very human endeavor, but measured by those objective measurements, I think it has served the state and the cause of justice very well.
Oh, it's worked wonders since we've had it. There's been no crime scandal.
And I believe that as citizens, we keep that balance between keeping the process open, keeping it fair, and also keeping it at a high level of integrity that Oklahoma should be proud of.
At the OBA, we have set up a website called courtfacts.org. I would recommend that anyone who has a question about a judge to go to this website. There are photos of the judges, biographies. You can even link to opinions that have been written by the judges. So it's a wonderful source, a wonderful way for Oklahomans to get to know their court system and who the judges that they elect are and what they are doing.